It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
This one's going to seem a little out there because you're going to be like, what?
Really? What a nerd.
So the second best decision was majoring in accounting. And look, I don't want you, by the way, this picture cracks me up. If y'all could have seen the antics that went into taking this picture in my office because Daniel was in charge of it.
All right.
He kept getting a glare. I have never seen somebody try to take a picture with all the lights off.
So he like shut the window and turned the lights off so he wouldn't get
Daniel is brilliant at what he does, but he might not understand that you need some type of light source to power taking photos. But it was great. So we took this photo, and now go ahead and make the joke. What is wrong with my diploma?
Well, here's what you can't see right now. That is like yellow parchment paper. And I don't know. Are diplomas supposed to just turn yellow and begin disintegrating? Is it really that old that the paper doesn't even withstand anymore?
Bo likes to show that I have like stickers coming off. Mm-hmm. It's yellowed. Okay, I'm old. We get it. Yeah. But I think that being old creates some wisdom in the fact that this is what I mean. It's not just choosing accounting. I want you to know there's a trend here. I look back at my life. I look back at success. It's accounting. Hardest business major at University of Georgia. Yep. I just want y'all to know that's if you go to Georgia, you can talk to anybody who's part of Terry Business School, and they're going to tell you accounting majors, they all have jobs when they graduate, but it is a tough major. Sure. So it's the road less traveled. Number 2, got my first job. I was not the smartest kid in the class. I was not what I call a front row sitter. I was kind of probably closer to the back of the room.
Sure.
But here's what I did do. I interviewed one of the clients of the CPA firm I was interviewing with above and beyond. They said that's why they hired me, because they had everybody else that came in and interviewed because they brought us in like a herd of CPA cattle to see who they were going to hire.
What a boring
I made it through a lot of the front row sitters who had much better grades because I went the step above and beyond by interviewing one of their clients. Nobody else did that. Nobody else had that angle. The whole thing with starting a business. Guys, if you knew, when I told my in-laws that I was leaving this perfectly good paying job that had great trajectory forward to start my own business, my in-laws were like, you sure you want to do that? You have a good job. Why would you want to go start your own company when you have this great job? And then even with starting the Money Guy Show, my wife had to go tell my friends not to pick on me too much about this crazy idea in 2006. She goes, don't pick on him. I know you, because we all guys pick on each other tremendously. She's like, don't pick on him. He's really passionate about it. I know it's out there. Just don't do it. All these things, what I learned was if you go the road less traveled and do what others will not, there's a good chance you will be rewarded for thinking that. Have a big picture view to things. And I looked at all the successful things in my life were typically because I took the harder task. It set me up for a much easier life in the future. And there's actually a greater point I'm going to talk about in a minute that still ties into that. But do the work that others are not willing to do.
I love it. And let me just go and say, I'm kind of glad you did that, or else we wouldn't be sitting here today doing the Money Guy Show, right?
Well, it is. Now, what's funny is that for all the craziness, when you look back over life, and it's kind of the Will Smith. We did on a previous show that Will Smith talked about him and his brother building a brick wall that his dad, and they were just he never could see the vision of what this wall would look like. He just wanted to lay each brick down well, and then once I look back over my own life, like even the Money Guy Show. What the heck? It was not supposed to.
Crazy.
It was not. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. So that's what I'm telling you guys. If you will go the road less traveled, you might find you don't have to have everything figured out when you start, when you're at the finishing line. Just do everything well and kind of know where you're trying to get to. And then you might really be surprised because you can't even envision how good things could be with that type of mentality.
I love it. All right, my second, guys, this one seems so silly now. My second best investment decision that I've ever made is paying for a house cleaning service.
Wait a minute. We just went from me starting businesses and what do we have here? We have somebody scrubbing a toilet. Tell us what we're talking about here.
So look, we're telling the life of Bo Hansen. When my wife and I first got married, or before we got married, I was such a tightwad, Brian. Like for every one of my meals, I would eat cereal because Publix always had a buy one get one deal. So I would go to Publix at the beginning of the week and I'd buy 16 boxes of cereal and I'd eat that for every single meal. Right? It's just what I did because it was so cheap. When we first got married, I did not turn on the heat in our house in the winter. I told my wife, hey, just put on socks and sweatpants and a long sleeve shirt and a hoodie and we will sleep just fine, right?
It's called hashtag pray for my wife.
That's exactly right. I found out as I've advanced in my maturity, as I've had some success, and as I've followed the appropriate financial order of operations, that sometimes it's okay to spend money.
Yeah.
For me and my wife, we do not like cleaning. And frankly, we both stay so busy from day to day, month to month, year to year. When we do have time at home, we don't really want to spend our weekends scrubbing toilets or dusting or doing those sort of things. We'd rather just keep it neat so that we can have, we can focus on family time with our girls and doing that sort of thing. So we recognize that one of the things we want to work into the budget that I do is we can put house cleaning in there. And by doing that and recognizing, you know what, yeah, maybe I could save that money, maybe I could invest that, maybe I could put that in my army of dollar bills, there will be some utility, there will be some happiness that comes from spending money on that thing. So one of the things you have to figure out as you advance is what are the things that you do that are worth spending money on, and give yourself permission, so long as you follow the financial order of operations, to spend money on those things.
Well, we've heard, at the end of life, you never see a U-Haul following the hearse because you don't get to take it with you. But I'll go even deeper is because, you're still in that warrior stage, conquering the world. I'm the, guy who's in his late 40s, a little more sentimental about things. I will tell you, I think it's also okay to spend money on the memories.
Yeah,
because your memories, when you create experiences, here's the cool thing about memories, they blossom. And what I mean by that is they get better over time. When you buy stuff, it kind of rusts, it corrodes, it falls apart. It gets outdated. But when you do things, even if you do it on the cheap, over time, you have a great memory or feelings of what those things create, and you do get to take your memories with you. Yep. So I think it is one of those things, it's okay to spend money, and there's some value there. Because you talked about cleaning. I know Jennifer and I, we just couldn't figure out who was going to scrub the toilets. because it was one of those things where, you try to figure out the appropriate division on it.
Right.
It probably is better just to have somebody.
Someone else.
And then the other thing, I would probably be an episode of Hoarders if we didn't have somebody come help us with the cleaning because it forces us to clean for the cleaners. I think we're like everybody else that does that.
The exact same way.
So I think there's a lot of value to sometimes it is okay to spend money.